Brendon, why did you decide to make your story public? Because it's something very intimate, and also you went through a lot of pain. Right now, I guess from the documentary, you are even an activist, so you have embraced your identity. So tell us about how much the fact that you made it public through Constantine's movie and your family helped you to be where you are right now.
The main reason that I chose to do the film and make it such a public platform, given that it's such private and like personal material and just the amount of emotion tied to it for me, is mostly because I know that there are other kids out there that are going through or went through the same thing that I did, and who are struggling and are having to deal with this typically like on their own. And I want them to know that they're not alone, that like there are other people out there who are going through and have gone through the same thing, and we've made it through, so you like they can make it through too. And that I view it as kind of like a hopeful film in a way, even given the subject matter, that it's to show even after all this pain and darkness, life goes on. You keep living.
Yeah. Constantine, why did you want to be part of this documentary, and what were the main reasons to get into the life of Brendon and their process?
For me, it started quite organically, to be honest. It was meeting Brendon and being kind of fascinated by Brendon and their art and their ideas, and and I think that at that point I realized that I also come from a film world where when I see someone, I see what their potential and kind of like, and I really saw a lot in Brendon, and at the same time, we had a chat about their art, and we spoke about the Trevor Project, which is something I'm really passionate about, and I've been a volunteer for a long time, and which is the leading suicide prevention line for LGBTQ youth. And at that point, we just found a lot in common, and I also admired Brendon. I had my own coming out journey, but I found a lot of confidence, and Brendon really knew who they were at such a young age, and I admired that, and I knew there was a lot of strength in telling that story. So I wanted to just bring out that strength and share it with the world.
So Brendon, how important was it for you, the support of your family? It seems to me that you have a very supportive and lovely family that is always there. They're not like,
Yeah, it was instrumental. Like the biggest difference between me getting through it and me not getting through it is support, and is my family. I include my close friends as my family as well. In my mind, the people that I choose to surround myself, they're just as much family as my mom and dad. So my family is what helped me through it. Without them, without that support, I don't think I would be where I am today. I don't think I would be here, because that's the biggest difference.
How important is art for you as a way of expressing things that you have inside and they're hard to put words on, I guess?
Yeah, it was super important because I struggle to verbalize how I'm feeling in the moment. Like looking back, I'm pretty good at like talking about how I felt, but when things are currently going on, I'm not the best at like choosing the right words to talk about. So art, it gives me a way of showing people how I feel, being like, this is how I feel, and I know there's no way to like misconstrue what I'm trying to say with it. Like, this is how I feel, and this, I don't have to worry about picking the right words to like say what I'm trying to feel. It just is right there and it says it for itself.
Constantine, how much, I mean, when we see the documentary, it's like we don't think of the camera or a director being behind. We think of the story. We're inside the bedroom drawing with Brendon. We were with him in the park, or yeah, we were walking with him. How did you accomplish the non-intrusive presence of a director and the crew? I guess you're very subtle or quiet.
Yeah, I am quiet once we say action. Before I'm like quite loud, but the moment I hear the word action, I get quiet. But I think that, you know, one other thing that Brendon and I have in common is that we're both artists. So I see their art and I see how to interpret it, how to present it, and how to tell their story using their art. You know, it's very important, you know, whether it's a documentary or whether it's fiction, for the people you're working with and the people that the camera is on, to make them feel comfortable. You know, whether you're, you know, telling someone to, like, you know, like I worked with Bill Skarsgård, who was the clown in it, you know, and like whether it's Bill and like giving him a personality that he has to portray, or whether it's Brendon and telling Brendon just be yourself and talk about yourself, it's kind of the same thing, because you just have to create a safe environment so that they can open up and be themselves, you know. And with Brendon and our, you know, a family friend of Brendon, Marco Marangelo, who produced the film, he's really close with the family. So he built a really safe environment. Like, for example, you know, Linda, who is Brendon's aunt, is interviewing Brendon. So it's not suddenly someone unknown in Brendon's room. So it was a very, you know, soft balance of how to do all of that and get them to open up. And you know, of course, we use visuals. You know, if you've seen the documentary, you see,
Yeah.
you know, Brendon's day-to-day is not cutting hair of, you know, dolls and, you know, stuff like that. Those were more like storytelling tools.
I like it when he got the Barbies who cut their hair, because I've done that too. But anyway, yeah, it's a symbol. I think Barbie symbolizes many things that are wrong with society in a way. But why do you think there's so much ignorance when it comes to trans people? Why? Not only ignorance, but prejudice, stereotypes. It's very confusing, I guess.
In my mind, the simple fact is that people like things to be simple. They like things to not be complicated. And if you don't have a trans person in your life, it's very easy to ignore that perspective. And it's very easy to act like it doesn't exist and be like, I don't have to know about that. I don't have to learn about that. No one in my life is trans. It's like, I don't have to worry about it. And this ignorance and prejudice comes from wanting to keep your world simple and wanting to keep your world the way that it is, which, if you don't have a trans person in your life, is obviously not going to include trans people. So the way that I'm trying to think about how to phrase this. When you open your perspective to include other people and other people's struggles, you need to have a certain level of compassion and empathy to be like, I know that this is not something that directly affects me, but I'm going to care about it anyway, because that's the right thing to do. And because I want to make people feel safe and comfortable, even if it's hard, if it's work for me.
I want to congratulate you for the documentary, both of you, because I think it's very necessary to be educating people, and also to, especially for teenagers that are going through the same thing, they need to know that it's not like the end of the world, that it's totally cool, and there are ways to be who you are, and you just have to develop self-respect and don't get stuck with the prejudice of this society. I don't know if you agree with that, or you both.
I agree. I wanted to add, you know, that, you know, I would say it's not just the ignorance and the prejudice, it's also education. Because, you know, we are, you know, I wanted to add to what Brendon said, that people are also afraid of change. It's not just that people want things simple and in boxes, but once they have them in boxes, they don't want them to change. But, you know, society is all about evolution and improving and, you know, evolving. So evolution, you know, brings change. So it's about accepting change and all together working, but towards that change, that positive change. But education is an important part. So I think this film, for us, I think the educational element is very important, because, you know, not that many people know where to access the right information about being trans. So, you know, and it's like so much you can, you know, like, you know, you want to hear the stories of others, understand them. And I think this is what we kind of, I hope we achieved, that we helped some people understand and learn a little bit more.
I would like to know, I think the film could be a candidate for the Oscar category, short documentary. And I was wondering if you are going to do some marketing campaign for that. I think it would be a great platform to launch more awareness.
Yeah, we currently are an official Oscar entry, and we are all pushing together and hoping for the best. Soon the shortlist will be announced, so fingers crossed we'll be in that.
Yeah, I hope you're the best. But I want to know, we've suffered 4 years of Psycho in the White House, and he affected all our lives, gay, non-gay, transgender, it doesn't matter. And I think that with Joe Biden, we can see hope. Like, let's say, since yesterday, I'm gay and I'm like, yeah, I'm gay. So when Trump was there, I felt insecure and unsafe. Now I feel protected. I don't know if, do you feel protected with an administration like Joe Biden that embraces diversity and it has a heart and is more humane?
Oh,
or
yeah.
is this too propagandistic?
I think this is my own like political view. I think there are issues with both parties, and that both parties have their own sort of like agendas that might not benefit everybody. But I will absolutely vote for a Democrat over a Republican candidate, just because I know that my values align more with the Democratic Party than the Republican Party, because I value diversity and I value including other people. And when Trump was elected, I was terrified to go outside. Even just Wednesday, I was like, I don't want to leave the house because I don't want any like Trump supporters to like attack me.
Yeah,
so I just stayed home. And having Joe Biden as president is just kind of like, it's like I can relax a little bit. I can be like, okay, that's one less thing I have to like worry intensely about.